Attacking community.
I want to talk about the concept of dating and who has to pay on the first date out to dinner. Now, first of all, I have a problem with that already. If you're going out on a date with someone and you're going to dinner, and you go out on a lot of dates, you're going to be going somewhere that requires more money than your average cheeseburger. That becomes expensive just after 2 dates alone. Anyway, the age-old question, who pays on the first date, is annoying to me. There are people who think the man should pay. There are people who think the woman should pay. There are people who agree the bill should be split 50-50. How come I never hear anyone say you pay for your own damn meal? After all, you're the one who's eating your food, so you ordered it, you ate it, you pay for it. Why does there have to be this thought in the minds of people, particularly with women, that a man is supposed to pay? Obviously, it's the most popular outcome, but I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of this entire process. First, let's start out with the man. As I'm a man, I can give insight into how a date actually makes a man feel. First off, I'd be afraid not to pay because the woman may think less of me if I don't. After all, society says I should, and if I don't, I'm not being a proper gentleman. This woman may never speak to me again because of it, and I would just have wasted a lot of time. Okay, then let's just say I do end up paying. Because I'm paying, I expect because I'm doing the gentleman thing that I would be favored for being so nice. Maybe I'll get a second date guaranteed, maybe she'll be more open to things that can lead to sex somewhere down the line, things of that nature. But you know what's still possible even if you go through all of this trouble if you're a guy? The woman can still say, it's not gonna work. I had a good time, but no thank you. Or simply just never call you back. And in that case, the man has gone through all of this thought process and worry, all for nothing. Yet he has to put more into the date than the woman simply by paying. This is why I personally think things should be of equal proportion, not equal down the middle of the check. I mean completely fair and equal opportunity for both parties. Again, what you decide to order is what you will eat. What you eat is exactly what you should pay for. Ladies, how would you feel if you were on a date with a guy and you've just finished your meal and he says, "You gonna get this one?" I imagine your heart would jump for a second because that would not be what you're expecting. But I would immediately expect you to feel that he should pay instead. I also don't expect you to tell him that. I expect you to be nice and say, "Yeah, I got it," leave and never talk to him again because he was an asshole. Let me tell you something. That's exactly how we guys feel when we're expected to pay for your meal. Now, we might go through the whole process as if nothing's going on because we are fearful that if we don't, you'll simply disappear out of our lives. We therefore feel manipulated into being nice. It is at that time we feel we should be awarded for being nice. But oh, that's just the gentleman thing to do, so you get nothing. You guys, this sounds very complicated, unnecessary, and childish. Well, here's my solution to all of this. I actually have 2 of them. The first, if you're going out to dinner, you pay for yourself. You ordered it, you ate it, you pay for it. You see, the food and the location are nothing more than a stage for you and the other person to be comfortable and speak to one another. Your body is programmed to associate eating with being safe. Animals put their guard down to eat in the wild, but they only eat if they're not in danger. We eat when we're taking a break from difficult tasks, and like the animals, we associate it as such. Therefore, we eat on dates to relax on dates. The eating part should not be that difficult. Remember, you're on a date for the sole purpose of getting to know the other person and to decide whether or not you actually like being around them. Your food is a tool meant to calm yourself, which is why you wouldn't order something that makes you gassy or spicy to the point where your nose starts to leak. Now that you have your food, you talk. The food's been finished, and if the date is going well enough, you're talking far beyond your plate being empty. But then you get to the check. Don't ruin the date by contemplating how to be the nicest or to look the most proper. Just ask for separate checks, because in fact, you guys are 2 separate people agreeing on mutual grounds to meet at a place to talk to one another. If one person gives another person money, it might complicate things. Me, on one hand, if a woman offers to pay for me, I'm uncomfortable, because that implies that I can't do it myself. I'm a man after all, and I know I can do it myself. That would actually put me down. My natural reaction is to take insult to that, so that's a no-no. On the flip side, I'm damn sure not paying for the woman because that would imply she did something to earn it. Whereas on an equal opportunity date, I would be giving up my power by letting her know that she can take my money even though I just met her. That's not gonna happen either. And we're not splitting the bill down the middle because one person can spend more than the other, thusly making the person who would have spent less actually pay part of the other person's meal. Example. Let's say I order just a Coke, which is $1, and she orders a $10 entree. This is a bad example because you would most likely handle this a lot differently than what I'm giving you here, but the logic of 50-50 says if we're going right down the middle, I'm paying 5 times as much, give or take, for my drink, and she's paying that much less. That right there to me makes no sense. Now you ruin the date with all this expectation and being a gentleman BS. If I'm a gentleman, you're gonna learn that during the date, as long as you're paying attention to me and not the future bill that's coming up. Therefore, you just pay for what you got and everything will be fine. It's a no-brainer. You go through all of life buying things for yourself, but now suddenly that you're on a date, the other person has to carry you? What did you give me? A popular answer I hear to this question is, I agreed to go on a date with you. Okay, that right there implies that you think you're better than me, and that means I don't want to be with someone like you anyway. Agreeing to go out on a date with me is not a commodity that you can put a value on. If you think that way, I believe you're part of the problem with this issue. Any girl who assumes I'm going to pay for them without having given or offered me something prior will not be spoken to again. And I still am only going to pay for my portion of the meal, so she's just really out of luck. I believe you should only pay for the other person if, for example, one of you doesn't drive, but the other person had to go a longer distance to meet with you. In that case, it would be nice to offer the person a free meal for their trouble. You know, say, hey, I appreciate you coming all this way to see me. I'm gonna go ahead and pay for your meal. After all, they actually gave you something that was worth something, and they deserve to at least be offered that. Now, I said there were 2 ideas I had to solve this problem. The second idea is actually very simple and much less complicated. Instead of an expensive dinner, you get lunch. It's really simple. In our daily lives, we're used to lunch being quick and satisfying, especially if you have a demanding job that you need to get right back to. So what you do is you meet for lunch somewhere you can get a quick bite and get straight to the point with the other person. The beauty of it all is if you're getting fast food, let's say McDonald's, you're in line, and just like always, you're ordering for yourself. There's no obligation there. You're only speaking to the cashier. You get your food and you go sit down. You wait for the other person to get their food and they join you. Now you eat, you talk, and you relax. If for any reason you can't stand the person, simply walk away. You have no obligation to stay, as you only got a quick bite anyway. Bada bing, bada boom. You took care of business, you spent minimal money, and whatever happened got done quickly, whether it was good or bad. You'll pretty much know right away if the person was worth your time, or at least if you want to see them again. Nothing awkward about it. And you can't be seen as cheap either because it was a meeting for a quick lunch. Quick and cheap. And in that time, you actually got something done. When you realize that all you want on a date is to get to know the other person and you concentrate only on that, you know that the food is only a tool to help you move things along, you can skip all of this awkwardness. Alright guys, this is AwpWilliams. Make sure to share, rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and remember that you cannot kill an idea. See you guys next time! Ow! Luchador. And in the blue corner we have Rainbow Mika, who clearly has nothing to do with rainbows. It's another close call here at 51%, and you guys chose